Hi, welcome to Virtual CB1A. This is Miss Rena, and for today's video discussion, we're going to talk about indefinite integrals. Let's start with the definition. So if you are given a function f of x, an antiderivative of f of x is any function capital F of x such that the first derivative of this function, capital F of x, ito siya, is equal to f of x. So if capital F of x is any antiderivative of f of x, then the most general antiderivative of f of x is called an indefinite integral and denoted by. So the antiderivative of f of x is capital F of x plus c, where c is any constant. In this definition, the elongated s, itong symbol na ito, is called the integral symbol. F of x is called the integrand, and x is called the integration variable, and the c is called the constant of integration. So before we continue with finding the indefinite integrals of certain function, i-review muna natin kung paano kumuha ng derivative. Kasi importante na marunong kayo kumuha ng derivative bago nyo maintindihan yung process ng pagkuha ng antiderivative. Kasi ano yun so kukontrahin niya yung kabila, it is actually the reverse of the other. Say for example, you have f of x is equal to 2x cubed plus x squared plus 6. What will happen to its first derivative? So to get the first derivative, ang pinag-follow lang natin before ay f prime of x is equal to, if you have f of x is equal to x raised to n, equal lang to sa n times x raised to n minus 1. And if you have a variable beside x, say for example, meron tayong a, meron tayong numerical coefficient a or any number a, any constant a, affixed with your x raised to n. So all you have to do is to multiply n by the power, multiply a by the power n, and then subtract 1 from the power. So, ganun yung gawin natin dito. In finding the first derivative of this function, we have to multiply 2 by the power 3 and then subtract 1 from the power. So, magkakaroon tayo ng 3 minus 1. Doon tayo sa susunod na term, x plus 2. So, since ang numerical coefficient lang nito ay 1, so you can just settle with 2 times x raised to 2 minus 1. So, 1 less ng power, 2 minus 1. Plus, si 6, wala siyang naka-affix na variable. But actually, merong hidden dyan na x raised to 0. And 0 times 6 is equal to 0. So, 0 na lang yung buong value ng first derivative ng 6. Now, let's continue this solution. 2 times 3 is 6. And then we have 3 minus 1 is 2. So, magkakaroon ka ng 6x squared plus 2x. 2 minus 1 is 1. And then 0. So, kung ito yung first derivative ng ating function, if you are getting the antiderivative, so sabi natin dito, given a function f of x, an antiderivative of f of x is any function f of x such that f prime of x is equal to f of x. So, dito naman, if we are going to find the integral of the first derivative f prime of x with respect to the variable x, you are expected to end up with your original function f of x. So, babaligtarin natin yung procedure dito. Kung nagkakaroon tayo ng multiplication and subtraction, this time, we are going to proceed with the counterpart of those operation. We have division and addition naman. So, try lang natin siya dito and then later on, mas ipaliwanag natin kung paano siya nangyayari. So, dito, we have the integral of 6x squared plus 2x with respect to x is equal to 2x cubed plus x squared plus 6. So, how did it happen? So, ganito yung procedure na susundin natin. So, sabi natin kanina, nagmo-multiply tayo, 'di ba? This time, we're going to proceed with division. So, tanggalin ko muna ito dito. Baligtarin natin yung procedure na ginawa natin kanina. So, meron tayong 6x squared, right? Nag-minus tayo ng 1. So, this time, mag-a-add tayo ng 1. And whatever your power here is, it is going to be your divisor for the first term. So, kung ano yung power mo for the first term, kung ano yung degree mo for the first term, yun yung magiging divisor mo for the first term. Then tayo sa susunod na term, 2x. So, si 2x, kaya naging x raised to 1, ay dahil nag-subtract tayo ng 1 from 2. So, si 1, ibabalik natin siya sa 2. So, that is going to be 1 plus 1. So, the power here is 1. A-add lang tayo ng 1 for it to become 2. And again, whatever your power is on the second term, that is going to be your divisor. So we have 1 plus 1. And what will happen to 6? So si 6, ang nakalagay dun sa property natin, it is any constant C. May technique tayo on finding the value 6 constant, but we are going to tackle it later on pa. So this is any constant C. So for here, let us simplify. We have 6x raised to 3 over 3 plus 2x squared over 2 plus c. We are going to end up with 2x cubed plus x squared plus c, where c is any constant. So, constant naman talaga si c, which is 6. Sabi ko nga later on, saka natin aaralin kung paano makuha yung exact value na 6 for the constant. But for this part, we are going to settle with the representative variable c for every constant, including the 6 in this example. Ayan. So, meron ba tayong isang example dito? So, the process of finding the indefinite integral is called integration or integrating f of x. If we need to be specific about the integration variable, we will say that we are integrating f of x with respect to x. So, this dx here pertains to the variable that is being integrated. So, kung ito ay x raised to the 4 plus 3x minus 9, ini-integrate natin siya with respect to the variable x. So, this variable can be changed into other letters. So, say for example, pwede mo to isulat as t raised to the 4 plus 3t minus 9 dt. But you have to be uniform. Whatever variable you used on your function, iyon yung gagamitin nyo for d, naka-affix sa d. You will look at it as a grouping symbol. So, di ba meron tayong mga grouping symbol na parentheses, square braces, brackets. So, yung open, ito, yung mga nasa unahan, underline ko siya ng red ha. Yung mga nasa unahan, ito yung counterpart nitong integral symbol natin. So that will correspond to the opening of your grouping symbol. And then itong variable natin dito, yung pangsara, dx, yun naman yung pang-close na parenthesis or brace or bracket. This is the open grouping symbol and this is the close grouping symbol. Okay? So, always denote kung ano yung variable na ini-integrate nyo by using d affixed with the variable being integrated. Do not forget that. So, hindi nyo to pwedeng iwan na hanging. For example, x raised to the fourth power plus 3x minus 9. Wala siyang dx. Hindi pwede yon kasi hindi natin alam kung saan matatapos yung i-integrate. Okay? So, balikan natin ang example na to. Integrate natin siya. So, for here, follow natin yung ginawa nating solution kanina. So, x raised to the fourth power, we have to add 1 to the power and divide the whole term by the power. So, 4 plus 1 na siya. And then, si 3x, yung second term, meron tayong exponent na 1. Add tayo ng 1 and then divide the whole term by the exponent. Meron tayo ditong 9 minus 9. Meron ba tong variable? Meron, may variable siya. Kaya lang, kaya siya natanggal kasi ang variable niya ay naka-raise to 0. And we know from loss of exponent that x raised to 0 is equal to 1. And 9 times 1 is equal to 9. Kaya nag-iisa na lang siya dito na 9. So we have here 9x raised to 0. Add tayo ng 1. Tapos divide natin the whole term by 1. Now, let's simplify. We have x raised to 5 over 5 plus 3x squared over 2 minus 9x. Sulat natin siya ng mas proper. So, the numerical coefficient here is 1 over 5 x raised to the fifth power plus 3 over 2 x squared minus 9x. So, this is the antiderivative of x raised to the fourth power plus 3x minus 9 dx. So, I hope that was clear. Yung dinidiscuss ko nga pala kanina, ito yon. So, you have this on your module. Hindi ko na siya i-discuss. So, you are going to think of the integral sign and the dx as a set of parentheses. So, one is the open parenthesis and the other is the close parenthesis. So, you have to make sure that your dx is located at the end of your statement. Hindi siya pwedeng nasa gitna or nasa unahan kasi hindi mo alam kung saan titigil yung pag-i-integrate natin. So, you have to be careful with that. So, the next topic that we should discuss here is the integration variable. Again, na-discuss ko na siya kanina. You have to be uniform. So, if your variable being integrated is x, then you have to enclose your whole integral by the notation dx. If it is t, then notation dt at the end. If it is w, notation dw at the end. Ayan. So, properties of the indefinite integral. Meron tayo ditong constant k multiplied by f of x dx. If you have a constant k at the beginning, you can factor it out. Pwede mo siyang ilabas dun sa integral symbol natin. Di ba kapag ka meron tayo, say for example, 2x plus 4. Pwede nating i-factor dito yung constant that is common to both terms, right? So, you can factor out 2 and then you will have x plus 2 because 2 times x is 2x, 2 times 2 is 4. Equivalent tong dalawang to. Ganon din pagdating sa integrals. If you have a common factor between your terms, or para mas madali, isang term na lang muna, if you are going to integrate 3x raised to the fourth power dx, pwede nga integrate mo na lang sa x raised to the fourth and take out 3. So, you can have 3 integral of x raised to the fourth power dx. Parehas lang yung dalawang yan. Similarly, if you have a series of terms, for example, 3x cube plus 6x squared plus 9x plus 15. Look at the values, 3, 6, 9, and 15. All of them are divisible by 3, di ba? So, pwede nating ilabas si 3. And then, just get the integral of x cubed plus 2x squared plus 3x plus 5. Nakalimutan ko si dx. Ayan. Huwag niyo kakalimutan si dx. Okay? Ayan. So, ganito lang yon. Ay, nabura lahat. Let's go to the next property. Next na property natin, we have, ayan. So, kung meron kang negative function, pwede mong i-factor out si negative na symbol. So, for example, meron kang negative 3x cubed dx. Pwede mo ilabas si negative 3. Okay? Similarly, kung negative x cube lang yan, ibig sabihin, meron lang siyang numerical coefficient na negative 1, so ilabas mo na lang si negative na symbol. You don't have to write negative 1. So, negative x cube dx. Okay? Okay. Ay, nabubura. Move tayo dito sa susunod. Kung meron kang series of terms inside your integral, pwede mo siyang hati-hatiin. Yung kaninang ginawa natin dito, inilabas lang natin yung common factor sa kanya, di ba? So, meron pang isa. Pwede naman na kung wala silang common factor, i-integrate mo sila by term. Pwede rin yun. For example, 2x squared plus 3x dx. Pwede mo siyang isulat as the integral of 2x squared dx. So, nakabukod na yung first term. Tapos, i-integrate mo rin yung second term, 3x dx. Okay? I hope that was clear. Let's move forward to the next one. So, ayan, i-apply pala natin dito yung natutunan natin kanina. Pero parang nasagutan na natin to kanina, no? Sagutan na to kanina. Oh, nasagutan na to kanina. Sorry, nagdoble. Ayan. I-skip na natin siya. Tapos na tayo dyan eh. Ayan. Ito, medyo nahuli siya ng pagpe-paste dun sa presentation. Pero kanina pa natin siya ginagawa. If you have x raised to n dx, ang gagawin lang natin, we are going to add 1 on the exponent and then divide the whole term by your new exponent. Your new exponent is n plus 1. So, your divisor should be n plus 1. And of course, affix the letter c. And this is only applicable if your n is not equal to negative 1. Kasi kapag ka meron kang n which is equal to negative 1, your power will be equal to 0 and your divisor will be equal to 0 as well. And we know that division by 0 is not allowed. Kasi kapag ka nagkaroon ka ng x raised to 0, any number raised to 0, this is undefined. Cannot be determined siya. So you have to be careful. Your n should be any number except -1. Next is one of the easier integrals but always seems to cause problems for people. Paano kung ang i-integrate mo ay ganito? Ang i-integrate mo lang ay isang constant. Halimbawa, the integral of 9 dx. In-explain na natin kanina that any constant, if they are being integrated with respect to a certain variable, meron naka-affect sa kanya na ganong klase ng variable. So, kung 9 dx to, originally, meron siyang naka-affix na x. 9x yan. Pero, ang kanyang power ay 0. So, with respect to dx din siya. Okay? Okay. So, this time, i-integrate natin siya. So, paano kung meron kang 9 dx? So, meron ka dito, factor out natin si 9. Ang kukunin mo na lang ay si x raised to 0 dx. Ang dali lang yan, di ba? So, meron ka ng 9. So, si x raised to 0 is 0 plus 1 divided by 1. Tapos, mag-add lang tayo ng c. So, meron ka ditong 9 x raised to 1 or x plus the constant c. So, napakadali kapag ka ang i-integrate mo ay constant. Ang gagawin mo lang, copy the constant, affix the variable being integrated. So, kung with respect to x siya, dikit mo lang sa x. And then, i-affix mo yung constant c natin. Limbawa, meron pa tayong 5dx. Huwag ka na magdaan dito. Tandaan mo lang tong rule na to. This is 5x plus c. Pag nalilito, just remember that pag nawawala ang variable, hindi talaga nawawala yan. Hindi lang siya sinusulat. Meron siyang power na 0. Okay? Okay. Dapat hindi na talaga ako nagbibigay ng example dito sa mga rule na to kasi i-introduce ko lang kayo dun sa mga rules and properties. Tapos, may mga sasagutan tayo later on. Next. Ito medyo later chapter pa natin siya i-discuss. But, ipapresent ko na rin siya this time. Hindi nga lang ako magbibigay ng example kasi nga later chapter pa to. So, these are the table, this is the table for the integration of trigonometric functions. So, the integral of sine x dx is negative cosine x plus c. Cosine x dx is equal to sine x plus c. And so on so forth. Ito yung mga iba pa. Later pa natin yan poproblemahin. So, relax muna tayo. Ito, isa pa. Mukha lang siyang mahirap tingnan. Pero pag sinasagutan nyo na to, madali na to. So, exponential and logarithm functions. Ito yung mga rule natin. Ayan. Next, meron tayong inverse and inverse trigonometric and hyperbolic functions. Ayan, dito na tayo sa examples. Doon lang kasi tayo sa mga unang madali, yung general formula, at saka yung may rule for the constant, at saka yung may numerical coefficient. Ayan. So, paano natin ito sasagutan with respect to Tisha? So to answer this one, all we have to do is to add 1 to each of the power for every term and then divide that term by its new power. So, unang term natin is 5t cube. So, we have 5t cube plus 1 over 3 plus 1. Remember ha, lagi lang tong magkaparehas. Yan. Yan. Siguro para mas visually, madali nyo siyang maintindihan, gawin kong red yung mga power. Yung mga magkakaparehas. Ayan. Sure naman na maiintindihan nyo na to. Pag naman hindi pa nako. So, we have 10t raised to the negative 6. Baka ma-confuse, but negative 6 to. Kahit negative 6 pa yan, you have to add 1 to the power. So, negative 6 plus 1. Denominator natin is negative 6 plus 1 pa rin. And finally, meron tayong constant dito na 4. Di ba kanina na-discuss na natin yan, na kapag ka meron kang constant na 4, didikitan mo lang siya nung variable na kino-consider natin for the function. So, kung ito ay meron kang 4, meron niyang x raised to 0 talaga nakalapit, therefore, you will have 4x. And at the end of your integral, you have to attach the constant c. So, plus constant c. Now, let's simplify. We have now 5t to the 4th power over 4 minus 10t raised to the negative 5 over negative 5 plus 4x plus c. Simplify pa natin ulit. So, this is going to be 5 over 4 t raised to the power of 4 minus 10 over negative 5. That is negative 2. So, plus 2 na to. Plus 2 t raised to the negative 5 plus 4. Teka, ba't ko to ginawang x? Sorry ha. Kanina ko pa kayo nire-remind. Ako yung hindi nasunod. So, yan. T ito. Kasi with respect to t tayo. So, 4t plus c. Now, you have the option, kasi hindi kayo sanay dito, di ba, sa may negative na power. You have the option to follow the loss of exponents. So, pwede mo siyang isulat as 5t raised to the 4th power plus 2 over t raised to the 5th power plus 4t plus c. So, si t, pwede mo siyang ilagay sa denominator so that your exponent will be positive. Wala tayong mga negative exponents. But, if you're going to present me with this answer, okay na yan. Acceptable na to. There are a lot of other possible solution for this problem. Kasi di ba diniscuss natin yung mga rules kanina. Pwede mo rin yung paghiwa-hiwalayin. 5t cube dt minus 10t raised to the negative 6 dt plus 4 dt. Kayo yung bahala. As long as you are following the correct rules na mga na-discuss natin kanina, wala kayong bina-violate kahit isa, and you will end up with the same answer, tatanggapin ko yon. Makukuha nyo yung tamang points. Okay? Now, let's continue to the second example. Ayan. Lumalabo pag pinapalaki. We have x raised to the 8th power plus x raised to the negative 8. So, ako, lagi akong si shortcut, pero kung gusto nyo siyang pahabain, gusto nyo, try natin mahaba. So, x raised to the 8th power dx plus x raised to the negative 8 dx. Ayan. Pwede nyo siya isulat na ganyan. Pero kung ako magsasagot nito, pa-clean ko lang siya. Ang susundin ko lang ay ito. So, meron kang x raised to the 9th power over 9 plus x raised to the negative 7 over negative 7 plus c. Yan. Kung ako ha. Pero kung kayo ay nalilito kung paano to nakuha, pwede kayo mag-settle dito. So, we have uh-huh. Ayoko talaga na mahaba. Pero, pwede nyo yung gawin. Plus x raised to the negative 8 dx. So, gagawin lang natin dito ay plus 1, tapos copy sa denominator. Eight plus 1, negative 8 plus 1. So, we have x raised to the power of 9 over 9 plus x raised to the power of negative 7 over negative 7, or 1 over 9 x raised to the power of 9 plus, or minus 1 over 7 kasi meron tayong 1 over negative 7 dito sa denominator. Tapos, ito, yung exponent natin na negative 7 ay gagawin nating positive 7. So, we are going to locate it at the denominator. And of course, do not forget the constant c plus c. Let's continue to the next example. Ayan, meron na tayong mga radicals. Paano yung gagawin natin kapag meron tayong ganito? One tip is to write it as rational exponents. So, kung meron kang fourth cube of x cube, di ba't ito equal sa 3 over 4? So, the numerator is the power of your radicand and the denominator is the index of your radicand. Ang index natin ay itong 4 sa labas. So, lagi yung power over index. So, pwede natin ito isulat as 3. Ito yung 3. Tapos, ito ay yung x raised to the power of 3 over 4. Plus 7 ay nasa baba si x raised to the power of 5. Para madali natin siyang masolve, wala tayong mga variable denominators. So, gawin natin siyang x raised to the power of negative 5. Yan. Lagi nyo lang tatandaan yung mga natutunan nyo before from your algebra nung high school kayo. Plus 1 over 6. Meron kang square root of x. Si square root of x ay equal sa, meron siya ditong power na 1, tas meron siyang index na 2. X raised to 1/2. Nasa ilalim siya. So, magiging x raised to the negative 1/2 siya. So, 1 over 6, si 6 ay nasa baba pa rin, pero si x ay nasa taas na, having the power negative 1/2. Since our numerical coefficient is 1, we can simply remove it. And of course, do not forget dx, the one that will serve as the marking for the end of our statement. Solve na tayo. So, we have 3x raised to the power of 3 over 4. Mag-add tayo ng 1. The new denominator is 3 over 4 plus 1. Dito, meron tayong 7x raised to the negative 5. Add tayo ng 1. And then, sa denominator, negative 5 plus 1 din. Finally, for this one, we have x raised to the power of negative 1 half. Mag-add tayo ng 1, and at the denominator, we have negative 1 half plus 1. And to end our antiderivative, we are going to add the constant c. Ayan, fraction naman tayo. So we have 3/4 plus 1. Ilan ang 3/4 plus 1? 1, 4, 3 plus 4. We have 7 over 4. So we have here 3x raised to the 7 over 4 over 7 over 4. Next, we have negative 5 plus 1, 7x negative 4 over negative 4 plus x raised to 1 half over 1 half. And do not forget to affix the constant c sa end. Ayan. O, fraction ulit tayo. So, meron tayo dito 3 divided by 7 over 4. So, 3 divided by 7 over 4. Rules of fraction, you are going to change your operation to multiplication and multiply it by the reciprocal of your divisor. Ang divisor natin ay 7 over 4. So, baligtarin natin si 7 over 4. The reciprocal is 4 over 7. Giving us 3 times 4 is 12 over 7. So, we are going to end up with, ay, ano ba yan? 12 over 7, x raised to the power of, ano yung x raised to the power of 7 over 4? So, that is x raised to the power of 7, pero nasa loob siya ng radical. And the index is 4. So, that is the fourth root of x raised to the power of 7. So, ito siya. Fourth root of x raised to the power of 7. Sulat ko siya ng mas malinaw. Kasi baka ma-misinterpret. So, this is 4. And this is 12 over 7. Parang ang hirap niya isulat pagka maliit yung pen. Sana mag-work siya this way. Fourth root of x raised to 7. And this is 12 over 7. Yan. Mas malinaw-linaw, no? Burahin ko na to. Pwede nyo naman itong balikan anytime. Plus, we have 7 over negative 4. Dapat pala ito ay negative na lang din. So, this is minus 7 over 4. And of course, since your exponent is negative, it should be written at the denominator for it to be represented as a positive power. Finally, we have x raised to the power of 1 half. Kaso meron pa tayong divided by 1 half dito. X raised to the power of 1 half is actually 1 x raised to the power of 1 half. So, meron kang 1 dito. So, this is 1 divided by 1 half, which is equal to 1 times 2 over 1. Rules of fraction po tayo. 1 times 2 is 2 divided by 1, which is equal to 2. So, dito sa dulo mo, 2 na lang yan. And you have x raised to the power of 1 half. X raised to the power of 1 half is x with the power of 1 inside a radical with index 2. So, that is the square root of x. Square root of x plus C. So this is the final answer for this problem. You can always go back to the parts na medyo hindi nyo naintindihan. So I suggest to repeat this video over and over again until you understand how the process was done. And if you have any questions, you can always send me a message. I think this video is too long na. Yes, about 40 minutes na. DY, madali lang naman to. Hindi ko na siya sasagutan. Bibigay ko na lang yung pinakang solution. Meron niyang 1 sa unahan. 1 dy. Meron tayong constant 1. Kayo na yung magtuloy. Next, ito. Paano to ginagawa? Isulat nyo lang to as a rational exponent. So, x bagang, w raised to the power of 1/3. Tapos, useful method. You will end up with the correct solution. Yan, expand nyo siya. Tapos saka nyo siya i-integrate. Ito, tong kabila. Power din yan. Parang katulad din nung kabila. I-ano nyo lang siya. Isulat nyo lang to as a negative exponent. And then get the product. I think this is the last one. Okay. So I hope that I was able to make this lesson as clear as possible. Nagbigay na ako ng mga videos last week. I hope na napanood nyo na siya before nyo mapanood tong isa. Kasi marami ring example doon. So I am making an effort to give you as much example as I can. As many example as I can. Ayan, mali-mali na ako. As many example as I can para hindi tayo nagkakalituhan. If you need more, and I cannot promise that I can add more, but at least I will be aware kung saan kayo nahihirapan, and I can provide you with external links kung hindi ko man kaya na gumawa or i-address yung issue ninyo ng personal. So thank you very much for listening and stay safe. Bye!